What if a small, thin object, often dismissed as nothing more than a bonus album inclusion, suddenly became a symbol of power, status, and global capital? And what if that object was worth more than $4,200 simply because one name was printed on it? Is this still about fandom, or are we witnessing the birth of a new, nearly uncontrollable form of cultural economy? These questions struck like lightning across the clear skies of the K-pop world when a simple post on Platform X, dated January 18, 2026, abruptly shook thousands of timelines, ignited emotional debates, and reopened a record that never truly died: BTS's Jungkook and the most expensive photocard in K-pop history. There was no official announcement, no agency statement, no press conference. There was only a post from the account at FrauJJK1, displaying a series of images of Jungkook photocards, objects that had long existed quietly among collectors' shelves and clear plastic sleeves, but this time paired with numbers that felt almost absurd. Thousands of dollars, dozens of bidders, heated auctions on eBay, and one claim that left many both stunned and provoked. No other idol even comes close, let alone surpasses it. Why did this post explode so violently? Because it did more than show prices. It reopened old wounds, old pride, and long-standing tensions within the BTS fandom itself. It forced a question that had long been avoided behind diplomatic smiles. Are all BTS members truly equal in the global market, or has economic reality quietly crowned its own king? According to reports from the well-known K-pop news site Okpop, the data presented by the account was neither baseless nor a one-sided fandom claim. The figures are meticulously recorded in the history of global transactions. A Jungkook photocard from the Butterful Lucky Draw BTS event was documented as selling for 3.7 million South Korean won, equivalent to $3,213 through an eBay auction involving 120 active bidders. This fact officially makes it the highest publicly recorded selling price for a K-pop photocard of all time. No marketing narrative can rival the raw power of numbers like these. But the story does not end there. If the first record alone was enough to make people furrow their brows, what followed made jaws drop. A blue-haired Jungkook photocard from FLO sold for $2,700, while a photocard from the Butterful Night event started at around $1,388 and continued climbing due to aggressive demand from global collectors. Most astonishingly, several rare Jungkook photocards from other Butter-era releases were reported to have breached $4,200 on eBay, figures that many industry observers find almost inconceivable for pop idol merchandise. Naturally, the next question arose on its own: is this merely an anomaly, or is a larger pattern taking shape? For longtime BTS fans, the answer feels both bitter and proud. Jungkook, the golden magne, has always stood at the intersection of talent, popularity, and marketability. Yet not everyone is prepared to accept the fact that market realities now openly place him at the top of the pyramid. The post by @FrauJJK1 did not merely present data. It also carried a sharp narrative that Jungkook is consistently the most luxurious, across nearly every dimension: merchandise, solo albums, and sales performance. Those sentences were what ignited the emotional explosion, and the comment sections, debates raged. Some ARMY saw this as undeniable proof of Jungkook's unparalleled global influence. Others felt uneasy, worrying that excessive glorification of one member could undermine the collective BTS narrative that has long been held sacred. The name Taeyong was inevitably drawn into the discussion, not because of equivalent data, but because of the fandom's emotional need for comparison. And here the irony lay bare. When numbers speak, feelings often lose badly. What makes this phenomenon even more compelling is its timing. The first Jungkook photocard record surfaced back in August 2022, yet instead of fading, its relevance has persisted well into 2026. In an entertainment landscape where trends can die within weeks, this durability is an anomaly that forces analysts to reconsider their assumptions. Why has this value endured? Why does it continue to resurface every time a new post appears? The answer may lie in one simple yet powerful fact. Jungkook is no longer just an idol, he is a global symbol. The success of his solo tracks such as Seven and Standing Next to You expanded his audience beyond traditional K-pop fandoms, drawing in collectors across cultures, ages, and motivations. For some, buying a Jungkook photocard is no longer about emotion. It is about investment. Entertainment industry experts have begun to view the photocard market as a miniature version of the contemporary art market. Rarity, narrative, physical condition, and historical context determine value. Within this framework, early-era BTS Jungkook photocards reselling for $300 to $900 USD are not irrational phenomena, but reflections of a market governed by brutally honest economics, high demand, limited supply, and a central figure with global influence forming a combination that is nearly impossible to rival. Yet the most unsettling question still hangs in the air. If a single photocard can be worth thousands of dollars, what does this mean for the future of the K-pop industry? Are we witnessing the transformation of fandom into a speculative market? Is love for idols slowly morphing into portfolio strategy? And amid all this, does Jungkook realize that his name is no longer just an artistic brand, but a high-value economic asset? One thing is certain, the $4,200 record is not merely a number. It is a signal that the boundaries between pop culture and global capital are rapidly dissolving. A signal that K-pop is no longer selling only music and stories, but also symbolic value aggressively traded on a global scale. And at the center of this whirlwind stands one name that continues to inspire awe, envy, and endless debate: Jungkook. So who actually created the $4,200 value? Jungkook himself, the fans, or the global market system that now envelopes K-pop? Because the longer this photocard phenomenon is observed, the clearer it becomes that this is no longer merely a story about fandom love, but about economic mechanisms operating with cold, almost ruthless precision. In academic discourse on popular culture, there is an old concept that now feels newly alive: commodity fetishism. A simple object acquires value far beyond its physical function because of the symbolic meaning attached to it. Jungkook's photocard is a perfect case study. Materially, it is not much different from thousands of other idol photocards. Paper, ink, a smiling face, and aesthetic design. But once Jungkook's name is printed on it, once BTS's historical context clings to it, once the Butter era is remembered as the peak of K-pop's globalization, material value collapses, replaced by symbolic value that seems almost limitless. This is where the market enters with its cruel yet rational logic. The eBay auction with 120 active bidders for Jungkook's Butterful Lucky Draw photocard was not a spontaneous explosion. It was the result of years of accumulated perception, narrative, and legitimacy. Each bidder arrived not only with money but with belief. The belief that this photocard would not lose value, that Jungkook would remain relevant, that history would favor those bold enough to buy today. What is striking is that data from Okpop shows these extraordinary transactions did not occur once and vanish. Instead, they formed a pattern. Jungkook photocards from FLO, the Butterful Night event, and other Butter-era releases consistently occupy price ranges untouched by most K-pop idols. Even Jungkook photocards from BTS's debut era, which may be aesthetically less luxurious than newer releases, continue to be fiercely contested in the $300 to $900 range. This is not mere nostalgia. This is long-term speculation. At this point, fandom changes its face. ARMY is no longer homogeneous. There are emotional fans, serious collectors, and quiet investors. They may watch the same concerts, but their motivations differ. For some collectors, buying a Jungkook photocard is akin to purchasing a blue-chip stock. Its value fluctuates, but its long-term trend clearly points upward. Every solo comeback, every streaming record, every global headline only thickens the legitimacy of that asset. Yet this phenomenon does not emerge without friction. The post-buy-it-frau-JJK1 on X function like a catalyst, opening latent spaces of conflict. When the account asserted that Jungkook is consistently the most luxurious in terms of merchandise and sales, it was not merely presenting facts. It was touching a sensitive nerve within the fandom. Reactions split. Some felt proud. Others felt threatened. Some celebrated the data. Others questioned the narrative. Comparisons with other BTS members, particularly Taehyung, became almost unavoidable. Not because Taehyung's data is weak, but because fandom always seeks emotional balance. The problem is that the market has no empathy. The market recognizes only demand, and so far, demand for Jungkook has proven the most aggressive, the most consistent, and the most global. Industry observers have begun to raise their eyebrows. In informal interviews cited by various entertainment media outlets, a recurring conclusion emerges. Jungkook stands at the ideal intersection of talent, image, and historical timing. He is BTS's maknae, the final generation that grew alongside the global explosion of K-pop. He is not only known by ARMY, but also by Western music markets, the fashion industry, and casual audiences who do not actively follow K-pop. In economic terms, his market reach cuts across segments. This is why the value of Jungkook photocards is so difficult to bring down. Even when BTS entered their military service phase and group activities slowed, that value did not collapse. It endured. More than that, it continued to be discussed. Social media discourse not only maintained relevance, but created a reinforcing effect. Every debate, every viral tweet, every follow-up article further increased the visibility of the asset. What is often overlooked is the role of global platforms in shaping this reality. eBay, X, and international news portals like Okpop act as amplification machines. Transactions that might once have been known only to a handful of collectors now become public consumption. When the $4,200 figure appears on the phone screens of millions, it transforms from a private transaction into a public narrative. And public narrative is the most effective fuel for rising value. Yet beneath all this lies an ethical question that is increasingly hard to ignore. Does the normalization of four-figure prices for idol merchandise create new divides within fandom? Is K-pop, once celebrated as a space of togetherness, now moving toward collection-based elitism? And are idols themselves subjects, or merely objects within an increasingly untamed market mechanism? Jungkook himself has rarely commented on this phenomenon. There are no direct statements about the most expensive photocard, no conscious self-claim over the record. And therein lies his strength. Jungkook's silence allows the market to speak on his behalf. Every speculation grows unchecked. Every number becomes a small legend standing on its own. This second chapter leads us to an uncomfortable yet difficult to refute conclusion. The $4,200 record is not an anomaly, but the logical outcome of a system functioning extremely well, a system in which emotion, identity, history, and money reinforce one another. And as long as Jungkook remains at the center of that system, as long as the global narrative surrounding him continues to live, the question we should no longer be asking is, why is it so expensive? But rather, how much higher can the price go? Then, after the dust of debate settles and the $4,200 figure is repeated like a sacred mantra, one final question emerges, far more unsettling than the record itself. Is this the peak or merely the starting point of an even more extreme surge in K-pop history? This question no longer echoes only among fans, but has begun to enter the discussions of industry analysts, professional collectors, and global pop culture observers who once dismissed photocards as trivial artifacts within the ecosystem of collectibles. There is one unwritten law that has always proven true. When a record endures and continues to be remembered, it is not waiting to be forgotten, but waiting to be surpassed. In Jungkook's case, this narrative grows stronger by the year. He is not an idol whose fame rises and then fades. On the contrary, each year his name finds new ways to remain relevant, through solo music, fashion influence, and a global image that extends far beyond the traditional K-pop fandom. In this framework, the value of a photocard is not merely a reflection of the past, but a wager on the future. Veteran collectors have begun to speak in a different tone. In closed forums and cross-border conversations, a quiet consensus has emerged. Butter-era Jungkook photocards are merely the foundation. Attention is shifting toward debut-era photocards, limited releases, and items whose original quantities are now nearly impossible to verify. As physical items from BTS's early phase become increasingly scarce, and Jungkook's global fanbase continues to expand, upward pressure on prices feels almost inevitable. For these collectors, $4,200 is not a mad number, but a logical one, perhaps even a conservative one. This phenomenon is also reshaping how fandom itself is understood. Where love for an idol was once measured through streaming counts or voting efforts, a colder, higher-risk dimension has emerged. Asset ownership. Not all ARMY are comfortable with this shift. Some view it as a betrayal of the spirit of togetherness. Yet the history of popular culture shows that every great icon passes through a phase of extreme commodification. The Beatles, Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley. The value of their memorabilia skyrocketed precisely after their legendary status was secured. Jungkook appears to be moving along the same trajectory, even as he remains active and productive. What makes the situation even more compelling is uncertainty. No one knows whether Jungkook will release more limited physical items in the future, or whether scarcity will be preserved even more tightly. This uncertainty is the fuel of speculation. And in market dynamics, speculation is the most powerful energy of all. As long as Jungkook's name continues to dominate global conversations, as long as discussions about the most expensive photocard resurface every few months, that symbolic value will continue to be capitalized upon. Ultimately, the $4,200 record does not stand as the closing chapter of a story, but as a marker of an era. It marks the moment when K-pop officially crossed the boundary of entertainment and entered the realm of high-value cultural economics. It marks the moment when a single name could elevate a piece of paper into an artifact worth thousands of dollars. And it marks the moment when the public was forced to ask again, what are we really valuing, the object itself or the meaning we project onto it? If history is any guide, one thing is almost certain: this number will not be the last. Perhaps next year, perhaps 5 years from now, someone will scroll through their timeline and ask with the same astonishment, do you remember when $4,200 felt absurd? When that moment arrives, Jungkook's record today will be remembered not merely as the most expensive, but as the beginning of a new era, an era in which K-pop, fandom, and global capital converged at a point that can no longer be separated.